I'm sharing my intermittent fasting 18-month update with you in today's video. Hello everyone, Jennifer L. Scott here, and welcome to the Daily Connoisseur. I have an intermittent fasting 18-month update for you today. Last time I gave you a major update was at the 12-month mark, and I have so many developments and changes, and I can't wait to share all of them with you. As a disclaimer, this video is for entertainment purposes only. I'm sharing my personal experience with intermittent fasting, but if you're interested in it, you should definitely talk to your doctor about it. I will leave the full disclaimer down below. So today I'm going to share the major developments with intermittent fasting. Did I lose any more weight? What are the benefits that I have seen? What are the changes that I have made in my routine? I'm answering all of those questions. I'm also answering your questions at the end of the video because a lot of you left me your questions. And at the very end of the video, I am reading perhaps the most important email I've ever received from a viewer who said that my video on intermittent fasting helped save her life. Okay, let's jump right in. We left with the burning question in the 12-month update on whether or not I would lose any more weight. To give you a very brief recap, when I was in my 20s, before I was married, right around that time, I was always around 116 pounds. After having 4 children, and now I'm in my 40s, the highest I ever got to was 145 pounds. I knew that I wanted to lose some of that weight. I was really amazed when I tried intermittent fasting that I lost 29 pounds basically, and I got back down to that 116 pound weight. Now the cliffhanger at the end of the 12-month video was, am I going to keep losing weight, or am I going to stay here? I want to stay at 116 because even though historically when I was a teenager I was around 110 in high school, I didn't want to go down that low because I'm totally happy where I am. So I had no more desire to lose weight, and that was the question I was left with at the 1-year mark. I thought if I keep doing this, and I wanted to keep doing it for several reasons. The first, because I'm seeing so many other benefits from intermittent fasting, but also it's a way of life for me now, and I just love it. So I wanted to keep doing it, but I didn't want to lose any more weight. Okay, so I'll answer that cliffhanger question for you right now. The most I ever lost was 1 more pound. The lowest I've ever gotten with my weight has been 115 pounds. That's where I am right about now. I just go between 115, 116, and that's where I've been hovering this entire time for the past 6 months. I'm totally happy with that. I didn't want to get too low. I did not want to go to 110. I'm perfectly happy where I am at 115. So I did lose 1 more pound. Now let's talk about what I adjusted once I decided I no longer wanted to lose weight. Again, I have to share that I'm not telling you to do this. This is not something that I was told to do. I simply made these adjustments on my own. It's like I'm a science experiment or something. We're seeing what happened with me, right? So here's the main thing that I did. I added cream to my coffee in the morning. When I was in my weight loss mode, when I wanted to lose weight, when I was losing those 30 pounds, I switched to black coffee in the morning so that I wouldn't break my fast. And then when I would break my fast at around 9 or 9:30 in the morning, then I usually would have a second cup of coffee and I would put cream in that, heavy cream. So I love my coffee with cream. I did tolerate black coffee for the whole year when I was trying to lose weight, but I do prefer cream in it. So I decided once I lost all the weight that I would introduce cream back into my coffee. I've heard conflicting results. Some doctors say that if you put 1 teaspoon of heavy cream in your coffee, that's less than 50 calories and it's not going to break you out of your fast. But I have heard other people say that yes, the cream will break you out of your fast. I didn't want to take chances when I wanted to lose weight, but now that I'd lost the weight, I thought, well, who really cares? I want to live a little. I want to be happy in the morning. I'm putting the cream back in my coffee. And honestly, sometimes I'd put more than a teaspoon. I'd put 2 teaspoons. So I would have my coffee at around 7 o'clock in the morning with cream in it. I still wouldn't eat anything until about 9 or 9:30, but I did put the cream back in my coffee. Now, whether that broke me out of my fast or not, I have no idea. But I stopped losing weight. I mean, I did lose 1 more pound, but I stopped losing rapid weight. It's not like I kept falling. Now, it would have been interesting to see what would have happened if I kept drinking black coffee. Would I have gone down even further? I don't know. But that is the change that I made. I didn't put cream in my coffee. So for those of you who are agonizing over the whole cream in the coffee thing, once you get to your weight, maybe you could try putting it back in so you could still have that joy and that pleasure in the morning, but not worry too much about those results with breaking your fast. I recently did a fall wardrobe update video for you where I tried on some of my fall clothing from last year. And keep in mind that a lot of these pieces were purchased 2 years ago. So they were purchased when I was at my heaviest weight of about 145 pounds. And you can see the dramatic weight loss that I have had. These clothes are literally hanging off of me. And the sizes are around size medium or size 6. That's what these sizes are. And so you can just see in itself how much weight my body has lost. And it's very interesting to see this. So I do recommend, if you're on this weight loss journey, to keep some of your older clothes so that you can try them on and see what a dramatic weight loss you can achieve with intermittent fasting. The biggest physical change I see in myself, because I didn't see too much on my body, I felt like my body distributed the weight pretty evenly. But the biggest change I see, and a lot of you have remarked about this, is in my face. My face, and I didn't even realize it at the time. You don't realize it when you're in it, but my face was so swollen and inflamed. And I'm showing you footage here of me, and this is actually shot, I believe, this video went up in June of 2020, but I shoot my videos really far in advance. So this was shot in May. So this was 2 months into the beginning of my intermittent fasting journey. So I was 2 months into it, but you could still even see how swollen my face is. It looks so different than how it does now. Here's some more footage of another video that was shot a few months before that. And you can just see not only the weight in my face, but also the swelling and inflammation. So a lot of people have asked me about health benefits other than weight loss with intermittent fasting. Now, during these two before shots where you see my swollen face, I was going through a period of time, and this was about a year to 18 months, where I was having chronic sinus infections. I mean, I think I even talked about it on the channel, just sinus infection after sinus infection after sinus infection. I was on antibiotics for this thing like the whole year. It just wouldn't go away. And so that accounts for a lot of the inflammation in my face, especially in my sinus area around my nose, just so puffy and swollen. And then of course you can see some of the extra weight there as well. But I have to say that since I started intermittent fasting, I haven't had any sinus infections. I mean, I might have had them at the very beginning, like when that first video was shot, but since I've been doing it long term, I haven't had any sinus infections. I'm not saying it's because of intermittent fasting, but I'm saying that's very curious, isn't it? I haven't had any. And I wanted to read this to you. I have a Healthline article that I found down below with really great science-backed facts about intermittent fasting. And the article says, studies show that intermittent fasting can reduce oxidative damage and inflammation in the body. This should have benefits against aging and development of numerous diseases. So it does help prevent inflammation. And I was really seeing inflammation in my face. I know I'm not the only one, because I've had many people write to me and say, oh, Jennifer, I just discovered you and I was watching one of your older videos, and not to be mean, but your face was so swollen in the other videos. And they're right, it was so swollen and puffy, and it's not anymore. It's incredible. So my sinus infections are a thing of the past as of right now. I'm sure I'll get one again in the future, but I'm saying that I have not had one in so long, and that has been amazing. Another curious effect from intermittent fasting is that I love being done after dinner. I love it. I love having my dinner, taking the last bite, and knowing that I'm done for the rest of the night, no matter what. I am the type of person, the type of personality who takes comfort in boundaries and guidelines. I'm a rule follower. So when I get to a stop sign, I feel comfortable. The other day I was driving down the road and there was some construction going on, and there were all these cones up, and the red lights, the stop signs were flashing. And it kind of took me off guard for a second. I thought, oh wait, what do I do again? And so I paused, I waited for the other people to go, and then I went. But temporarily, it was a bit jarring. It's confusing. The guidelines were blurred. Where was the stop sign? Just tell me when to stop and tell me when to go. So I'm one of those people who just loves that. I get to a stop sign, I feel comfortable and happy. It's telling me when to stop, it's telling me when to go. And it's the same thing with the 10-item wardrobe. I like the boundaries there. When I create my capsule wardrobe, I'm done for the season. I'm not perpetually shopping, right? And so it's the same with intermittent fasting. When I have my last bite of dinner for the evening, I'm done. Don't need to think about it. I'm not going to graze in the pantry. I don't care what anybody else does. I personally am done. And I love the comfort of that guideline. Another change that has happened to me is that I don't even want snacks anymore. I don't want them. I don't even want them. My favorite ones. The other day, for nostalgia purposes, I purchased yogurt pretzels because I love, or at least used to love, yogurt pretzels. I love them. They're so delicious. They're so sweet and tangy with the salt and the yogurt. Yummy. So I purchased yogurt pretzels for myself. And I found that even though they were available during my eating window, I could totally eat them. I'm not on a diet. I don't tell myself what to eat and what not to eat. I didn't want them. I even forced myself to eat a few because I bought it and I thought, well, I should just eat the pretzels, but I didn't even want them. I have literally no desire to snack anymore. All I want now during my eating window is pure, delicious food, just the highest quality meals that I could possibly have. I'm realizing that I haven't told you my eating windows, so I generally start at 9 a.m. and I stop at 5 p.m. Give or take a half an hour. Sometimes if we eat dinner at 5, I won't be finished until 5:30, okay? So there you go. I mean, I don't want snacks anymore. I will have them if we make cookies or something like that. I usually count that toward my tea time, but I don't want a snack. I just don't want to anymore. And before, I was grazing a little bit, even though I am the author of Lessons from Madame Chic, and chapter 1 is called Snacking is So Not Chic. I still would snack a little bit. Even though it's not chic. So that is an interesting thing. I suddenly have that consumption snobbery that we've talked about. I talked about that with my friend Brian Kozlowski in the Long Live the Queen interview. Consumption snobbery is a good thing. You want to be snobby about what you consume. You don't want to just consume all and sundry, just whatever snacks are available, put them in and start eating them. No, we want to be highly discerning. Another benefit I found is clarity of mind, particularly in the afternoon and in the evening. So I'm not foggy anymore. You know when you eat and you just feel sick from what you've eaten, you feel so lethargic and bloated and everything, and you can't even think properly. That really goes away. You have so much more clarity and so much more energy. Okay, I would like to answer your questions now on the community tab. I mentioned I'd be filming this video, and did you have any questions? I received over 170 questions, so I'm only going to answer the ones with the most thumbs up because that shows me that there's the most interest in that. So let's answer those right now. Stephanie asks, I'm interested in your portion sizes. It would be very beneficial if you discuss them. Okay, so many people ask about my portion sizes, and if you are new to my channel, I do intermittent fasting, what I eat in a day videos, as well as what's for dinner videos where I show my plate. And I have comments from people saying, wow, that's a lot of food. And a lot of people saying, wow, that's not very much food. So I think the whole portion size thing is divided. Some people think I eat a lot and some people think I don't eat a lot. I don't know what's going on with that. But I am going to bring Dr. Patty Tay back on the channel. I interviewed her on intermittent fasting last season. And we're going to do a video specifically on portion sizes to answer all of your questions. She's a real doctor, so you can listen to her for sure, about what type of portion sizes you should be using. I do not portion my plate according to any particular practice. I'm not trying to get a certain number of calories on my plate. I just try to make my plate look beautiful, and I don't do too much. If I'm doing rice, for example, I'll put it in a 1/2 cup measurement and put it down, but only usually to make it look attractive, not because I'm only having a 1/2 cup of rice. So I really don't plan my portion sizes. I know roughly from living with myself for 41 years about how much food I'm going to eat, so I just portion what I'm going to eat. Most of the time I finish my plate, but a lot of the times there's food left over as well. So I don't know what to say about that, but I would say wait for my video with Dr. Tay and we will answer your questions on portion sizes. Okay, next question from Sacred Mommyhood. If you hit a weight loss plateau, did you have to change anything to get past it, or did the weight loss eventually resume while keeping the same schedule and eating patterns? Thank you. So the only plateau I hit with my weight loss was at the very bottom when I just didn't want to lose any more weight, and I wanted to be at the plateau. So again, when I hit the 116 mark, I didn't want to go further. I was happy that it plateaued there. I did go 1 pound further, and I explained to you the change I've made with the coffee. I know that my experience is not universal. I have many, many hundreds of comments from people saying, I lost 10 pounds, but then I hit a plateau. And I would recommend that you watch my interview with Dr. Patty Tay because we talk about that. Now, somebody brought this up to me, and I think this makes sense, although I couldn't tell you if it's science-backed or not. But I have never been a person to diet. I have never really done a diet in my entire life. So I feel that my metabolism is pretty pure. I haven't messed around with it that much, and I think that could be why I have easily lost the weight. Other people have said they've been on yo-yo diets their entire adult life, so their metabolism is a little uncertain. And because of that, they hit plateaus. So again, we can talk to Dr. Tay about this when I bring her back. I don't want to speculate, but that could be why I lost the weight without hitting a plateau until I wanted to hit the plateau. Okay, Amy asked, did you lose weight evenly over each month, or was it faster, slower at certain times? Okay, so I did not expect these glorious results. When I did intermittent fasting, and I should have known this because I'm a YouTuber and a blogger, I should have documented it a bit more. I thought I was going to lose about 10 pounds. I did not expect to lose 30 pounds. So I didn't document it that much. I wish I could tell you day by day, week by week, what it was. All I know is that I hit momentum a few months into it. It was just like 1 or 2 pounds a week there for a while, which is I think what you're supposed to do. And I just steadily kept losing that. And then I really noticed it a few months into it when I thought, wow, I'm really losing a lot of weight. I noticed it in my clothing, etc. So I would say it was pretty steady. Although I wish I had documented it for you even more. I wish I knew this was going to be a big thing. I had no idea that it was going to be so big for me. Miss Akia Alexandria asks, what times do you have your meals? Do you breakfast, luncheon, tea, and dinner, or do you skip one of those? Okay, and then she asked about portion sizes, which I just discussed. How to shift from being a hot eater to a cool eater. We're going to get to that. Okay. If you watch my intermittent fasting, what I eat in a day videos, that will answer your question. I generally have breakfast at 9 or 9:30. I will have lunch at 12. I do have tea time at 2:30, and then I have a light dinner at either 4 or 5. Yes, I did say 4. Sometimes I have it at 4, okay? And she said, how to shift from being a hot eater to a cool eater. If you don't know what that's in reference to, again, I discussed that in my interview with Brian Kozlowski on Long Live the Queen. We talked about the difference between a hot eater and a cool eater. I used to be a hot eater, constantly thinking about what I would eat next, what I wanted to eat, snacks, etc. And now I'm a cool eater. Not that I don't care, I do highly care about what I eat, but it doesn't rule my life, okay? So I would just say that naturally, as you do intermittent fasting, you become a cool eater. Tips to ignore any hunger pains when you've had little sleep and willpower is weak. I was speaking about this with my dad, who has incidentally lost 20 pounds on intermittent fasting, and he said it perfectly. He said, you know, when you feel that hunger late at night, that's when you're burning fat. And that's what I said in my last video. I said you literally feel yourself losing weight. So when you get those pains, it's late at night, you want a bowl of cereal, go to sleep, okay? Just go to sleep and know that your body is burning fat during that time. And that helps me get through it, but that gets easier over time. Okay, Kat asked, do you let your kids eat snacks and eat in the evening after dinner? Yes, because we eat such an early meal at 5 p.m. Let's say they go to bed at 8:30 p.m., sometimes a little bit later. They do have a snack, a healthy snack, a little bit later, because that's very early for people to eat and then not eat for the rest of the evening. When I lived in Paris, yes, we did not snack after dinner. However, our dinner was much later in the evening, around 7:30 to 8 sometimes. So yes, they do. I'm the only one in my family doing intermittent fasting. I'm trying to get Ben to do it, but he's not interested. But he and the kids will have something else. I usually prepare something small for them in the evening. Now, because I am the mom and I cook the dinners and I'm in charge of dinner, I've always had dinners at 5 p.m. This is not something I'm only doing for intermittent fasting. I do this because this works best for me and I'm the one who prepares the meals. I don't want to be in the kitchen at 8 o'clock making a big stew and cleaning it up and everything. I want to be done at that time. So I do this early at 5 and then we eat and then they have something else, carrots, hummus, apple slices, whatever. I find with children that actually works really well. They don't like big heavy meals. They like the little things that they like, right? Like carrots and hummus, yogurt, and that type of thing. Sharon asked if I've gained any of my weight back. No, I haven't. In fact, I lost 1 more pound. I'm there at 115, 116. Do I follow it every day? Pretty much. I'm not so strict that I'm counting the hours. Sometimes if I'm hungrier or my schedule doesn't allow for it, I will eat a little bit earlier. I had so many people ask, what do you do if you go out to dinner or you're at a party or if you're watching a movie with the family and they're all having popcorn? What do you do? Okay, so if I'm going out to dinner, and I've gone out to dinner a handful of times, I mean less than I normally would because of the pandemic, but definitely I've gone out to nice dinners with Ben. My cousin was staying, I went out with her. We've been to people's houses for dinner, and what do? I have dinner. And I don't worry about it. The next day I just get started back on, I'll have breakfast at 9 a.m. So I'm not saying to people, I can't eat, I'm on intermittent fasting. I eat, I go out, I have a lovely dinner. This is not that often though. I mean, I have 4 kids, we're not going out every night. We go out very rarely. So when I do, I'm going to thoroughly enjoy it. Okay, having said that, the few times where I have eaten late at night, my stomach has let me know that it is not happy. My body has gotten used to me eating so early that if I eat later, I kind of have a stomach ache. So I've reset my body in that way. But anyway, it doesn't happen too often. But if I go to a party, dinners with my family or restaurants, I will eat later at night. It's not a problem for me. But if my family's all watching a movie together and they're all having popcorn, I don't have the popcorn because I don't need to. I don't even want it. Like I said, I'm not snacking anymore. Okay, now I'm going to close by reading you an email I received from a woman called Marianne, and I got her permission to read her email to you. This is perhaps the most amazing email I have ever received in my life, so listen to what Marianne had to say to me. She said, I want to thank you for sharing information on intermittent fasting. Your information saved my life. I fought cancer for 6 years. Yes, about 20 chemo treatments and cancer-fighting drugs. The cancer was embedded in the omentum, a fatty organ great for supporting cancer growth. Because of close proximity to vital internal organs, survival of omentum cancer patients can be as short as 4 months. The chemo couldn't get to it, and the anti-estrogen drug only slowed growth. If limiting estrogen had an influence and body fat cells make their own estrogen, seemed to me that getting rid of body fat should help, and I had lots of fat to lose. I tried your intermittent fasting plan. In 8 to 10 months, I lost 50 pounds. I have the chills. Went to my regular doctor visit to schedule follow-up scans. I told the doctor that I felt great, and if I still had cancer, he would have to prove it. The scan results showed no cancer anywhere in my body. My doctor was amazed. Thank you, Jennifer. What you are doing saves lives. And I have the chills. I feel like crying. I'm so happy for Marianne. When I got that email, I was just completely stunned. I read it over like 5 times. I couldn't believe it. Now, I'm not saying that I'm responsible for this at all. She was very gracious and said that my video triggered something in her. And I totally believe that God puts things in front of us. And if we're paying attention, that we can definitely go on the right path. So I think that, and I'm not saying that intermittent fasting got rid of her cancer, even though she is attributing it to that. But what I'm saying is that she was able to lose 50 pounds. And because of that, and because of who knows what other circumstances, she was able to be cancer-free, and it saved her life. So Marianne, I am so happy for you. This whole community is totally cheering you on, and God bless you. I'm so happy. I have never been happier to read an email from a reader. There are a few things that suggest that intermittent fasting could have really helped her. And from that same article I read, it says when you fast, insulin levels drop and human growth hormone increases. Your cells also initiate important cellular repair processes and change which genes they express. Okay, that's key. Studies show that intermittent fasting can improve numerous risk factors for heart disease, such as blood pressure, cholesterol levels, triglycerides, and inflammatory markers. So I wanted to close with a bit of unexpected advice. This is from Mrs. Beeton's book of household management. I already read this to the Chic Society, so you all know what I'm about to tell you. But I love this book. This is from the Victorian era. It's an old book, and I was flipping through it, and I couldn't believe there was a little section here on fasting. So let's see what Mrs. Beeton had to say. She says, "It is said by many able physicians that fasting is a means of removing incipient disease and of restoring the body to its customary healthy sensations. Howard, the celebrated philanthropist, used to fast 1 day in every week. Napoleon, when he felt his system unstrung, suspended his wonted repast and took his exercise on horseback." So Mrs. Beeton, back in the 1800s, was saying that intermittent fasting or fasting is a means of removing incipient disease. So they weren't really even talking about weight loss back then because that wasn't that much of an issue. They didn't have an obesity epidemic like we do today, but it was more for a means of removing disease from the body. So I am so happy for Marianne and that she had that amazing transformation. Now, if you have an intermittent fasting testimonial, please leave it in the comments down below. I love hearing about them. I hope that this answered a lot of your questions. If you have any more, or if you'd like me to do a follow-up on this, please leave your comment or question down below. Also, make sure you're subscribed to my channel because I will be doing more intermittent fasting, what I eat in a day videos, and discussing the topic further with you. Thank you so much for joining me here today on The Daily Connoisseur. Keep calm and remain classy, and I will see you in my next video. Goodbye.